My name is Sabrina Best. I am the Recreation Director for the City of Auburn. When I was hired here about 4 years ago, one of the first projects that I was tasked to was working with LA Arts in the Art Walk. And over the past few years, we've been able to transition and transform the relationship and what we've been able to showcase in Auburn. And very excited to be able to put together the Story Walk along the Riverwalk. It's a great little short strip from Bonnie Park to Festival Plaza down on Main Street. It displays 8 different sections of storyboards, very similar to the one that's right here, they change monthly. And it either showcases a specific theme or a specific artist. We're very excited for June's Art Walk to showcase our very own Edward Little High School student, Sophia. Sophia has been involved with LA Arts, helping with the public art grant work group. And for her to be able to showcase her pieces in her own community, I feel is a great support system for her, and we're hoping that will continue with high school students and other local artists here in Auburn. We are excited that this is just one project that's been completed. It got put together back in 2019, but we will have future ones, which is great to hear. We have confirmed a public art piece that will be going in, a sculpture, somewhere along the Main Street, hopefully down towards the Festival Plaza side, and then potentially some more. So keep your eyes peeled, we'll have more coming. If you are a local artist or you're interested about public art in Auburn or Lewiston, reach out to LA Arts, or you can reach out to myself at the Auburn Rec Department.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Bill Lowe. I'm on the, I work at the museum at Bates College. I'm a resident of Auburn and serve on the board of LA Arts. We're here to talk with Sean Rice, our teacher at Edward Little, and Sophia Tarian, who's a rising junior, is that correct? At Edward Little, who's the artist featured in the Auburn storyboards for the month of June.
Sophia is actually a rising senior at Edward Little High School, and she is a student in our honors art class, which is a wonderful class. It's a special class that kids work their way towards after taking some foundation and second level 2 art classes at our school. And one of the things that separates that experience from other experiences is the student's opportunity to develop a concentration or an area of focus. So students come in with kind of an idea about a message or a question that they'd like to respond to over and over again for the course of the year, and that is an underlying theme in their portfolios. And one thing that I've learned, I learned kind of early on in knowing Sophia, was her tendency to sort of allow the message to dictate the medium. So she's very, very focused on what her art says, and then sort of selecting a media or a process that speaks to that.
So my concentration for the school year that just ended was I focused on the little tags that you would find at the end of tea bags or fortune cookies, because I've always been really interested in the little messages. They always kind of find a way to like bring a little moment of grounding to a day. So I wanted to use that because they often get thrown out. So I wanted to use those as prompts for every piece of art that I created throughout the year. I believe 2 of the pieces that are being, that are in the art show, the butterfly ball and chain and the Icarus, are both part of that concentration where they have like a tea bag saying on them. So it created some artistic limitation, but I felt like that was able to prompt more creativity and new ways to approach different topics through my art.
The original drawings actually have the tea bags attached to them, don't they? The
Yes.
sayings attached to them, yeah, which is really great. And Sean, the show also includes Sophia's work, both representational and abstract paintings. And in your teaching, how do you approach the different types of work?
In that particular course, it's primarily student designed. So we have a process that on a monthly basis, we often select a whole class theme that the students are required then to blend with their personal concentrations, just to give them a place to sort of change direction a little bit as the year unfolds. But it also, a lot of the research that's done for the class is also student initiated. So we'll often, once we select a theme, a whole class theme, and kids brainstorm how they have to find connections with their personal concentration, we then sort of talk about the different processes that we might use to address that, and historically what other artists have done to respond similarly to common themes that we're presenting. So much of what we're bringing into the classroom is what the students bring in with them, and I love that idea.
So there are a number of storyboards on the Riverwalk and on the Auburn side, showing your art. There's a lot of, they're really different kinds of images. I don't know if you want to, if there are I can't remember the title of the cat portal painting, or there's one, The Pursuit of Knowledge, and if you want to talk briefly about any of those, so that people have an idea of what they're looking at, that'd be great.
So I think it was the Almighty Portal Cat. Yes, that came from a conversation between me and a friend. I'd seen this picture of a cat in this room, and the light was shining into the room in a way that made it look like the cat was surrounded by like fractals of rainbows. And I thought it was just the most hilarious thing I've seen. So naturally I wanted to paint it. I think the conversation went something like, Portal Cat will be forever immortalized on canvas. So now Portal Cat is. So that's definitely one of the more comical works that I've done. And The Pursuit of Knowledge, that's a bit of an older piece. I'd say I think it's at least a year old by now. But that was probably the first time I had really tried to study skin and like human realism, because before that I hadn't really done much portrait work. But I really like the story of Albert Einstein's kind of growth from a shoemaker to a scientist that has basically changed the world as we know it. So that's why the shoes are included.
On the Pursuit of Knowledge painting, I remember, Sophia, correct me if I'm wrong, I thought you might have asked me a question, or asked the viewer a question, what if he had sort of accepted the initial fate of being a shoemaker? And I loved that sort of question, because it immediately goes back to your other comment that his work changed the world. So it was sort of interesting to imagine a world that was without Einstein. So I thought I would mention that.
Yeah.
I've always been awfully proud of Sophia, because she isn't one to hesitate. You have some artists sit back and wait for the proverbial inspiration to hit, and she's just not that person. She will dive into any question, find multiple answers for it. She's brilliant at connecting her research, so finding connections that aren't tangible, that weren't maybe intended to be made, but she finds ways of bridging those together. I'm also really grateful for an opportunity, particularly during this time of school closure and remote learning, it's been awfully hard for me not to see my students. But I think what's been harder for me is the idea that any work that's created struggles to find an audience. And what the Riverwalk show does, I think, for Sophia, an artist in this case, is to help do something that's really important. And that is, as an artist, Sophia has so much to say, and folks will not be robbed of an opportunity to find out what that is for themselves as viewers, and to dive into her work. So I really appreciate that. Appreciate you participating, Sophia. This is kind of like this is, you know, the early efforts for artists to share work in a changed world. So you're a pioneer in that way.
Throughout the month of June and for the June art walk, much of the art walk, or most of the art walk, is going to be done remotely and digitally and online. Sophia's works, however, can be seen in real life at a safely distanced way. So hopefully people in Lewis and Auburn will have an opportunity to see the great work that Sophia is doing. And there will be other artists throughout the summer. So we'll get to see more of students from Edward Little and Sean's students as well. So really excited to have you, Sophia. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Are there any additional thoughts that either of you want to share?
No, I just really want to thank you and LA Arts for this opportunity to share my work during kind of a up in the air, crazy time. It's very meaningful to me and a lot of artists.
It's wonderful to see that art continues to define and redefine our community. And I'm very grateful to LA Arts and the City of Auburn for allowing Edward Little High School students to showcase their work as part of those ongoing efforts. So thank you so much.